Shalom, assalamu alaikum, konnichiwa, bonjour, good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you today? It's Ken at 10 with you once more. Hope you're having a good day so far. If you haven't been before, then thank you for coming. We're James Alexander Estate Agents. We broadcast daily, talking about all things property right here on your favorite social media channels. And if you're coming back again, well, thank you for joining us once more. A few property headlines as usual. And a little update here in southwest London. The weather is grey and overcast, but quite warm actually. Forecast lots of rain, sadly. There we are. It's Jack's day off. It's always raining on Jack's day off, as he'll tell you, no doubt. So yes, I hope you're well. Let's talk about house prices today. The news today, first of all, house prices. The house price growth accelerating headline from the Royal Institute of Chartered Surveyors. They say that for the first time this year, positive growth was reported in new buyer demand across every region. 3/4 of surveyors reported increasing house prices, but a lack of new listings was the main concern cited. Professionals reported that new instructions from homeowners looking to sell cooled significantly, with an overall net balance of 4% reporting a decline. The survey suggests a growing number of professionals expected house prices to increase over the next 3 months. Looking ahead, 68% of surveyors anticipate house prices will have increased. That's from the RICS. Next headline's an interesting one. This one's the least and most expensive homes in the UK. And I know you're going to want to know what the stamp duty bill is. I'll see if you can guess, and I'll tell you at the end of this show. But let's talk about the cheapest first of all. The least and most expensive homes sold in England. This is an article from a Daily Mirror yesterday, or this morning, I think, I'm not sure which. And the least and most expensive homes sold in England and Wales Q1 have been revealed. The cheapest, see if you can guess, what do you think the cheapest was? It was in Sunderland, if that gives you a clue. And it was a flat, and that was sold for £15,000. That's less than the price of the average new car, isn't it? A lot less. Well, and that's located in Sunderland, and it's just a fraction of the average £58,900 that the average first-time buyer needs. According to data compiled by the Mirror, the next cheapest property, also in Sunderland, went for £16,500, also in Sunderland. And the next one was in County Durham at £17,000. Incredible, isn't it? When you look at the rest of the country and you look at London, it's just still such a disparity, even with the levelling out that the pandemic has brought. Most expensive, I know this is one. There's always the real thing that gets me here is Kensington in Chelsea is the borough. Kensington in Chelsea is one of the cheapest boroughs for council tax, and yet it's got the most expensive homes. How can that be right? It can't be right, can it? But it is. It's one of those things. The most expensive was and this is for 2021 first quarter, a detached house in Kensington, London, and that was sold for £28,991,750. £28 million. The stamp duty bill on that, well, you'd like that. You'd like that alone, let alone the house price, and I'll come back to that in a minute. And the next two most expensive properties were also sold in Kensington and Chelsea, with the second highest, a terraced house for £22 million. £22 million, a terraced house. And that was followed by 18.3 million. And the stamp duty bill we calculated here, presuming it's a second home and that you're a foreign buyer, which both things would probably apply in this case, your stamp duty bill would be a cool £4.84 million. That's right, that's not the house price, that's just the stamp duty. And if you'd have bought the one in Sunderland at 15,000, it would have been zero. Incredible, isn't it, the disparity in property in the UK, but there we are. I want to come on to, you'll notice that I've got the eviction notice behind me, and I want to talk about the new rules, landlords, some good news at last for landlords. And this is announced yesterday by the government. I just wanted to run through the rules because I know a lot of you are concerned with this, as we are as a large managing agent locally. Yesterday, the government published new rules, and the announcement today, this is from the NRLA, from 1st of June, enforcement of possession by county court bailiffs and high court enforcement officers will be allowed in all cases, although they will be asked not to enforce where a tenant is self-isolating or has COVID-19 symptoms. Not worrying, get out there for some maybe. Any notice periods currently set at 6 months. As you may know, the Coronavirus Act meant that notice periods were extended to 6 months during the pandemic. And those notice periods currently set at 6 months for both Section 8 and Section 21 notices will reduce to 4 months from 6 months. So that's interesting. That's a reduction of 2 months. And with ground 7, that's death of a tenant, and ground 7B, right to rent breach, reducing to pre-COVID levels. So things are coming back to normal. And the serious rent arrears notice, which triggers the 4-week notice period under rounds 8, 10 and 11, section 8, will reduce from 6 to 4 months rent. So you no longer need 6 months rent to get the 4-week notice. You did during the Coronavirus Act, but that's now reduced to 4 months. So if your tenant is 4 months in arrears, you can now serve them with a 4-week notice. That is good news for many landlords, because I know there are tenants that struggle through this pandemic, and my heart goes out to you if you're in that position, but also many landlords also have been taken advantage of by unscrupulous tenants. And many of our landlord clients are not the rich moguls that people might expect. Some are pensioners, some rely on this as their income because they're incapacitated and have had to give up work, and therefore have invested in property as an alternative and a hedge against inflation. And many of those people that got caught out with tenants that are taking advantage. I have to say, our tenants have been fantastic on the whole. Of all of our tenants, we have very few problems, but then we select very carefully. And that's the key, is selecting carefully. With tenants, you can never ever be too careful. But yes, very good news. And a couple of other dates for you landlords. Number one, from the 1st of August, the notice period for non-serious arrears, i.e. less than 4 months arrears, will reduce to 2 months notice. So lots of technical changes there. You need to make sure you get it right. I'll repeat that. From the 1st of August this year, the notice period for non-serious arrears, i.e. arrears of less than 4 months arrears, will reduce to 2 months notice. So if your tenant has less than 4 months in arrears, you'll need to give them 2 months notice under the Ground 8, Section 8, 10 and 11 claims. From 1st of October, all extended notice periods will revert to pre-COVID levels for both Section 8 and 21. So basically what we're saying is everything goes back to where it was on October the 1st. Between now and then, you need to be a little bit careful and make sure you're following the rules. I hope that helps you. So aside from that, busy today, couple of valuations coming up. Slow down on the valuations and on new stock coming on. Buyers out there still looking, not finding enough stock. Plenty of people out there searching. A lot of people that are under offer that can't find something to buy, which is rather frustrating. But I suppose we have to expect that, because now we have 49 days remaining before the end of the first stamp duty deadline. Clearly, a lot of people wanting to hit that deadline will recognise that it's unlikely, if you tie up a sale today, unless you're a cash buyer, that you'll actually make it by the end of June, and therefore enjoy that stamp duty holiday. If not, bear in mind there is a smaller holiday. The doubling of the relief from 125 to 250 will give you a couple of thousand or so back. But it's not quite the same thing, I know. But it's something, isn't it? And something is better than nothing, as my mother always used to say. Apart from that, hope you have a fantastic day. Look after your family and friends. We'll be back same time tomorrow for another Ken at 10 on Fantastic Friday. Stay safe and well. Look